border. So, meron na po ba tayong information if may mga Pinoy na po na malapit doon? And kung mayroon, kamusta yung supply, kamusta yung situation nila, at may nag-aasikaso ba sa kanila? And second question also is, ano na po yung plano natin, no, para ma-repatriate po yung mga Pinoy na gustong makaalis ng Gaza?
Opo, in number one, our ambassador in Amman is in touch with them. So far, they're all right, no? None is reporting that they got physically hurt or injured because of these attacks. Because they're not, yung attacks noon, yung sinasabi nyo, are not where the foreign nationals are situated waiting to cross. They're outside the crossing. Hindi yun ang ina-attack. Somewhere near there so far ina-attack. As for food and supplies, yes, it's true that supplies are limited. But our kababayans do have food, water, and electricity, kaso in limited supplies. So what we're hoping is that the corridor be opened and the foreign nationals be allowed to cross to Egypt as soon as possible. No, and we're ready. Our embassy in Cairo is ready. Sabi ni Ambassador Izzudin Tago kanina. Once they get to the Egyptian border, they will be picked up and brought to Cairo to be repatriated home. It's just a question of the opening of the corridor. And right now, it's still closed, but the Israelis have always said it could be any day now.
At sir, meron na rin po ba tayong nakuwang assurance from the government of the Israel na our people will be protected?
The Israeli ambassador said that our people will be protected and that they intend to protect those who will cross the corridor. Kasi pag tawid mo ng Rafah crossing, hindi yun Egypt agad. Merong corridor na maikse. Tapos nandun ka na sa Egyptian side. That's controlled by Israel, that area. So they will protect those crossing.
But what's the feedback of the government?
Please,
Last
let's follow, no, one and one, because we have to give opportunity for the others. Next, Joyce, please.
Hello, sirs, ma'am. Sir, kahapon, you've mentioned that the DFA's position is that Israel should follow humanitarian law when defending itself and in its attack sa Gaza. But kanina may hospital blast na report sa Gaza. What can the DFA say about bombing of civilian infrastructures there?
Well, on the policy issue, this is a concern not only of us, of the Philippines, but even the whole of ASEAN. In fact, ASEAN will come up with a statement, I don't know, within the day or tomorrow, on this issue of humanitarian law. So yes, that is a concern that will be hopefully conveyed. Thank you.
Let's remember the president is also going to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, President, you know very well that the President will be attending the ASEAN GCC Summit. And of course, there will be a lot of ASEAN issues that will be discussed. But definitely this subject, which is happening right now, will definitely be discussed. But we'll see how it will unravel. And the summit will be on the 20th of October.
Pero specific condemnation, ma'am, doon sa act of bombing the hospital, civilian infrastructure, meron po ba against?
Right now, there's none yet because it recently happened. Wala pa kami in the context of ASEAN and probably as a national policy statement, not yet.
Jim?
Okay, Yusik Tess or Yusik Ed. What's the Philippine government's reaction to that horrendous, deadly attack on that hospital that killed about 500 people? And how would you balance the Philippine government's reaction with the fact that the president has said that Israel has the right to self-defense, no? And Israel is one of those being blamed by Hamas for that hospital attack.
Just an initial reaction which has been asked by the lady here is that we have not yet issued a statement because of very recent incident about the hospital. You know very well the statement that has been given concerning the humanitarian law and of course in self-defense. As I said, there will be an ASEAN statement within the day or probably tomorrow. It's still just being very careful of what is happening and the nuances. And you know that ASEAN, we have a different affiliations, so that is something that will be coming out later today or tomorrow. Thank you.
The questions of Jacob, please.
Hi, I'd just like to get some clarification on what Yusek De Vega said. You said the corridor will be opened any day now. Is that from the Egyptian or Israel side?
From the Israeli side, because they're the ones. The Egyptians are always saying that it's not up to them. It's not their fault that nobody has crossed. No foreigner has crossed. It's the Israelis who are still controlling that part. And once they cross, they reach the Egyptian border, and then the Egyptians then decide to give entry permits. So they're not at that position yet. Kailangan tumawid pa yung mga foreigners. Something is clear though, they will allow eventually foreign citizens but not Palestinians. No? So far yun ang naririnig po namin.
When you say any day now, is that within the week? And what assurance did they give that they can back this up?
They don't give assurances. They always say, be prepared at any moment's notice that suddenly.
Please, then, yes.
May pagbabago po ba dun sa number ng mga undecided at yung mga gustong magpaiwan sa Gaza?
Araw-araw palaging nagbabago eh. So,
Mga ilan na po, sir?
Alam natin, mga 70 to 80 ang uuwi, ang gustong umuwi. Hindi umabot ng 100 ever ang gustong umuwi. At most 90, 92. Titingnan natin once umayag na yung nandun na makatawid yung mga foreigners, baka mas kukunti pa once ma-realize na hindi na masama yung kanilang mga Palestinian husbands. That will be a problem.
Yung nabalita po na Pinay na kumakain na ng panis na tinapay, nakamusta nyo na po ba sila doon? Kamusta po sila? Ano po sitwasyon ngayon?
Opo, nakamustahan na ni Ambassador Fred Santos. Of course, there are other Filipinos helping out with food. And besides, there are international organizations there. UNICEF, Red Crescent, which is Red Cross Arab countries, no? At saka yung UNRWA. So they're trying to make food reach people, no? At the very least, ito sabihin ko, no, this is a better situation kaysa yung nasa Sudan. Nasa Sudan, nasa kalagitnaan sila ng desyerto, waiting to cross to Egypt. Now, nasa lugar sila na kung saan may mga gusali, may mga lugar na manirahan. So, it's not ideal. I will say again, I've been saying that, no? But that's why we're calling for all to those concerned to finally allow people to cross.
My question is directed to Yusek Tess. You mentioned a while ago that ASEAN will issue a statement on the civilian infrastructure bombing. May I know who initiated the call, and can you please elaborate more about this?
The one who initiated in ASEAN, there's a coordinatorship. On this particular situation, I think it's Malaysia who is coordinating this when it comes to the GCC and as well as the Middle East issues. But actually, it's the coordinator. However, okay, I stand corrected. The one who really initiated this is Indonesia in its capacity as chair of ASEAN. Iba pala yung GCC with Malaysia. It is Indonesia. And we credit everything because Indonesia is trying to get a good number of common denominators among the 10 ASEAN. Okay.
All right. Quick follow-up lang po. Is it going to be a statement or condemnation about the bombing itself?
Is it a statement or condemnation?
A condemnation.
It is a statement. And
I've got two questions, one for Yusek De Vega and one for Yusek Tess. Yusek De Vega, you said that any day now that they could cross the border into Egypt, but you don't know when that day is going to come. The situation, though, is getting more and more dangerous. At the same time, you said that maybe more of them will decide to stay because their Palestinian husbands are going to have to stay behind when they realize that. So is there a plan B here? I mean, in the past few days, we've only been hearing about this one border crossing and nothing else, and that's their only hope.
Nais kong sabihin sa inyo, hindi lang, can I be heard? Hindi lang ang Pilipinas nagkakaproblema dito. Lahat ng bansa hindi nila ma-repatriate ang kanilang mga citizens from Gaza. Now, there are reports about other nationals coming home and it looks great. Whereas, so some people in the Philippines might say, well, how come wala pa na uuwi yung Pilipinas? No, those are being brought home from Israel. In fact, we're bringing home today the first batch of 17. If you mean Plan B, an exit outside, away, other than the Rafah crossing, there is no such exit, other than the Israeli Erez crossing, and they will certainly not allow it. So we have to work for them, well, diplomatically, it's being done. I'm sure that ASEAN eventually, and the UN and others will call for it. No? So, ang importante, handa ba tayo? Yes, they're ready to cross, and our kababayans, our embassy in Egypt is ready to receive them. So, ganun po.
Just real quick, are the Filipinos actually safe? Because you said that the areas at the Rafah crossing that's being bombarded are the areas where foreign nationals aren't present. But we've also been hearing reports and seeing reports that even areas outside of Rafah crossing in the southern part of Gaza have been stricken.
So far, our embassy is saying the Filipinos reporting they're safe and there's no attacks in their areas. But again, we can't guarantee, well, come on. That's why we issued alert level 4. No place is 100% safe. But the Israelis said, sinabi nila, leave northern Gaza and the city of Gaza. So that meant that that's where they're going to concentrate their attack zone. So the Israelis have already told us that they don't intend to harm Filipinos, obviously. So we're counting on that.
Two questions. In the next round, yeah, for those who are in the next round. Bernadette, yeah?
Yusek De Vega, I'd just like to know, are there foreign governments who offer the Philippines help repatriate our fellow men once they reach Egypt, such as a space sa kanilang eroplano or barko, like the U.S.?
The U.S. has mentioned to us that they'd be willing to help us, pero what they're referring to is Filipinos in Israel. Indonesia has offered to help Filipinos in the West Bank cross over to Jordan, which is not difficult. No, I mean, it's not like the border to Egypt from the Gaza Strip. So there are, and in the same way, we're also helping them in other things, like we're giving the names of their nationals to the Israeli authorities. No, pero I will clarify. No, we can do it. Pagdawid nila to Egypt, our government has the resources to repatriate them. But we thank them for any offers they're making.
Any follow-up? No, follow-up. Can I, Malu, and then Malu, please.
Hi, magandang hapon po. Yusek De Vega. Sir, meron pong reports of parang firing of missiles dun sa southern Lebanon. Meron po ba tayong advisory for Filipinos? And also on the other side in the northern Israel.
Yes, that's in southern Lebanon, and yung ating embassy is in touch with 840. No, that's in Syria. Our embassy in Beirut is in touch with the Filipinos in the south. No, but they're not the ones in danger because it's the Filipinos across the border. No, sa northern Israeli villages. Ang report ng ating embassy, yung mga residents doon in-evacuate na. Kasi palagi nangyayari to, palagi umuulan ng rockets from Hamas. From the Hezbollah. And now they're doing it, I suppose, sabi ng mga experts, as a symbolic sign of support for Hamas. They're not going to invade Israel. Pero right now, yung mga kababayan natin doon, there are less than 100 of them in the northernmost parts na tabi ng Lebanon. They're not there. They've been evacuated.
Question? Do you have a follow-up question? No.
Clarify ko kung may alert level or we just follow what the local government is asking.
We're following. Ganun po kasi alert level 2 pa rin. Kasi yung, alam naman ng mga Pilipino sa Israel, kung gusto na umuwi, tutulungan namin umuwi. In fact, aside from today, may isa pang batch darating in a few days. There are 30,000 and less than 100 have said they want to go home. So it's a sign that they want to stay. They know to them it's stable down in Israel.
Hello.
Sir, I'm sorry for clarification lang po. From what I understood earlier, the Egyptian government is okay with opening the border, but it depends on the Israeli side. So what do you mean by that? Like it's controlled by military ba or what?
They're saying that it's not them who closed. As far as their side of the crossing is, it's open, except the exit from Gaza direct towards Egypt is not controlled by them. It's controlled by Israel. So, ganun po. Of course, Egypt also does not want to receive a flood of foreign refugees. So, ang gusto nila, pag may pupuntang dayuhan na foreigners, including Filipinos there, igagarantiya ng ating embahada, ng ating pamahalaan, na uuwi sila o alis sila ng Egypt. No? So, we have issued that.
Sir, last question. There's an attack on the southern part. This happened despite the warning, the advisory from the Israeli side that the warning just on the northern side. So, are we confident or do we trust the Israeli government that they wouldn't attack the civilian? Thank you.
Promise they won't attack the civilians. By the way, we want to clarify yung sinasabi niya. We don't want it to be given the impression that we don't care about loss of civilian lives. No, we've always said we don't want civilians to be hurt anywhere. No, so your question is, are we confident that? Well, that's what they're saying. So we're confident in their promise that they will protect Filipinos.
Good afternoon. One for Yusek Ed and one for Yusek Tess. Yusek Ed, it's just weird because we had this press conference with the IDF and they're saying that the authority to open the Rafah border crossing is really up to Egypt. So just a clarification on that. And also the DMW said they are validating reports that there was an OFW who was also abducted, one of the hostages. Do we have info on that?
There's always the possibility, we don't have confirmation, there's always the possibility that 3 of them have been abducted. There's always a possibility. We don't have the information. One of them has an Israeli passport, that much we know. 2 others, one man, one woman, are definitely OFWs. All right? We don't want to say that they're abducted, we have no confirmation. Now, as for yung sinasabi nyo, well, let's put it this way. There's a lot of diplomatic niceties going on because both sides want to protect their security interests. Tatagalogin ko, nagmumukha ba nagtuturuan sila? Maaari, pero wag niyo ko i-quote. Ang sinasabi ko po, concern ng Egypt na may papasok na terrorist, concern naman yung Israel na may tatakas na terrorist. So, how do we put it? Hanggang magkaroon ng usapan sila, how do we put it, ma'am?
Well, I'm sorry, I'm just reacting to Yusek Ed. But I think there's some situation going on in the United Nations for the Security Council. Tingnan natin how it will unravel. But there have been meetings and very serious meetings at the Security Council level.
And then for Yusek Tess,
You had 2 questions already.
One for Yusek Tess.
Yes. You had 2
Hindi ko pa
questions.
natanong sa
Your
kanya.
question 1 was about the who was actually
Yes.
opening up, and the second question was about
But
the
I said
DMO.
for Yusek
The
Tess.
next round, yeah, the next round, because that's the same case as in with okay. Next, this round, this any question in this side? No question. So this one, Bea, do you have a question? No. Your question, yeah. No, I'll just see you first, yeah.
I will say something though. We do appreciate both governments for having been very attentive to our requests. No, both Egypt and Israel.
Yusek Tess, I will just press one more time for the Philippine position because you said ASEAN position, right? So does the Philippines not have a position on what happened to that hospital?
We have a position. I think we have given, if I recall, 2 statements, and it's stated there. In fact, what is in the ASEAN is the very first paragraph says that we all have our national positions and statements, and then the common denominator among ASEAN is stated in the succeeding paragraphs. So what I'm saying is that yes, primarily it is the Philippine. We have a Philippine position. The rest just is
so
common among
if
all
you
of
could,
us.
for the benefit of our audience right now,
I think
Philippine position.
I think, I don't recall very well, but the statement is that we condemn the violence that has occurred. And that, of course, there's always the quest for a political how do you say this? A decision in meaning to, to stop further escalation. I mean, I'm just paraphrasing, but I thought there were statements already that were given to the media that was last week. So that is the position
No,
that
no,
we have taken.
that the hospital attack in particular.
As I said, just hold, because the incident just happened. That's the third question that has been asked, but we don't have it yet. In fact, I just learned it now during the briefing made by Yusek Ed. We will be giving a statement to that fact as soon as possible. We were just finishing this process.
All
Thank
right,
you.
this side, yes. Anyone for the second round? Yes.
Excuse me. Excuse me po. Here. I'm here. With the recent development, especially the civilian infrastructure bombing and the evacuation order for the 1.1 million civilians in the northern Gaza, will it affect the Philippine position regarding with what's happening in the Gaza Strip?
What is the question? I think sabihin ng question na will it affect our position?
The position, because
The alert level.
Yusek Test mentioned that a week ago we are condemning the violence perpetrated by the Hamas. But with the recent development, especially the civilian bombing, which is allegedly done by the Israeli side, I'm asking if it would affect the position of the Philippines.
I'm sorry for smiling. The reason I smiled is all of you are trying to get Yusek Lazaro to make a statement, which you cannot. But anything we say will be consistent with what we said before. Protect civilian lives. We respect Israel's right to self-defense. We condemn the acts of terrorism committed. Now acts of violence, they're wrong. But any direct statement on this has to come yet.
Again, same answer to all the questions. Just hold, and we'll give you the proper, appropriate statement. Okay.
You are very imaginative. I mean,
Any more questions? Any more questions? Yes.
I'm just so sorry to press this again. When you say Yusek Lazaro, the statement has a condemnation of all of the violence happening. Does this also include the violence perpetrated by Israel? Because so far the number of the Palestinians killed is double of the number of Israelis killed.
At the time that we issued the statement, it was the bombing that affected Israel. Now, if this includes what has been unraveling as the day progresses, then it will be, I guess, another statement will be made. But we're only addressing the issue at that time, but because the statement came within the day or a day after the bombing of certain parts of Israel. So I limit it to that.
So far we don't have any statement sympathizing with the, those killed in Palestine, in Gaza.
I think that will be embodied in our ASEAN statement, but not yet, because things are running so fast. You see, Yusek Edes, a lot of answers to your questions, because it's moving. There's so many moving parts, it's unraveling, and it's very hard right now to make a definitive statement because of the situation. So the political part, the diplomatic part, is also being discussed simultaneous, or rather in tandem with what is happening on the ground.
Questions? Any more questions? Yeah. Barnaby.
Just a quick clarification on the number, because what we knew so far was that 22 Filipinos were wanting to get repatriated from Israel, and then you mentioned just a while ago it's less than 100. So how many?
What do you mean? What do you mean? Okay, okay.
Sorry, I got
There were
confused.
22, 17 are
Sorry.
going home today. There's an additional 14 going home in a few days. So that's more than 22 because it could add up. The 100 are from Gaza. So, well, we hope 135 decide to go home.
Okay. But it's possible that not 100 of them would want to come home,
It's quite possible.
and it's because
It's because the
despite,
Palestinian
despite
spouses
the
will remain.
escalating violence,
Sabi nila, that's their home. Sabi nila, both sides, yung Filipinos living in Israel and Filipinos living in Palestine are used to this, unfortunately, this, how shall I say, this cycle. It happens every year. So they're not leaving their countries, of their host countries. Some will.
All right, if there are no more questions, we'd like to thank Yusek Tess Lazaro and Yusek Ed De Vega for answering all of your questions, and we'd like to thank you too for joining us in this briefing. Thank you.